Temi, who had been so kind, started acting differently. She began treating Abike's little girl badly, just like Abike had treated Alice before. She would send her on an errand in the hot afternoon. She would make her watch both her and Alice's clothes, and even sometimes refusing to give her food, telling her to go and meet her wicked mother. Once upon a time, in a small African village, wrapped in nature's embrace, lived a man named Tade. Tade was well respected in the village, known for his wisdom and kindness. He had a wife as beautiful as the morning sun, and a daughter named Alice, who was 12 years old. Alice was the apple of her father's eye, a girl with a smile that could light up the darkest room. In this village, where every sunrise brought new stories, Tade made a big decision. He wanted to marry another wife. His first wife couldn't have more children, and in their village, having a big family was seen as a blessing. So, Tade talked to his wife about it. She loved him and wanted him to be happy. So with a heavy heart, she agreed. So, Tade chose Abik, a woman known for being kind and graceful. The whole village got excited. Tade is getting married again. They all talked about it. Alice's mother, even with a storm of mixed feelings brewing inside her, helped with the preparations. She made sure everything was just right, showing her love and respect for Tade. On the wedding day, the village was full of music and bright colors. Drums sounded loud and strong, and people danced, their feet making patterns in the dirt. Abika looked really beautiful, like a queen, and Alice's mother was next to her, trying to hide her worries with a smile. Abik, the bride, stepped into Tade's happy home like a gentle breeze. At first, Abik seemed like the kindest person. She smiled a lot, talked softly, and helped around the house. Alice watched her new stepmother, curious and hopeful. Maybe, just maybe, this change was going to be good, she thought. But life in the village was about to take a turn. Like the river that changes its course, Abik's true nature would soon reveal itself, changing the lives of Tade, his wife, and little Alice in ways they never expected. And so, in this small village under the vast African sky, the story of Alice and her stepmother began to unfold. In the village, right after Abik's wedding, everything seemed quiet and peaceful. But this didn't last long. Abik, who had been nice at first, started showing a different side. She wasn't the kind person Alice and her mother thought she was. Abik's voice changed. Where she used to speak softly, she now spoke in a mean and harsh way, especially to Alice. Things that used to make her happy now made her angry. It felt like a big, dark cloud was hanging over their house. Alice's mother, who always knew what to do, noticed this change. She took Alice aside one day and said, "Stay away from Abik as much as you can. We don't want any trouble." Alice didn't really get it. Then she asked, "Mother, you always tell me Abik is my second mother. Why staying away from her?" Her mother, as wise as an owl, just smiled and then repeat, "Just don't get too close to her. Let's keep our peace. Please, my daughter." Alice didn't really get it, but she trusted her mother. Then a big problem happened. Alice, doing her everyday work, went to get water. She took Abik's special calabash, a pretty container. But something bad happened. On her way back, Alice tripped on a stone she didn't see. The calabash fell and broke. Alice felt very sad. When she got home with tears in her eyes and holding the broken calabash, Abik got very angry. She shouted a lot, saying things that hurt Alice deeply. Hearing the noise, Alice's mother came quickly. She tried to protect Alice, but Abik was really mad. The home, which used to be full of laughter, now had a lot of anger in it. From then on, Abika became even meaner. She didn't like anything Alice did and was always finding faults. Alice, who was once happy and free, became careful and sad. Abike's bad treatment changed her. The people in the village didn't know about the problems in Tade's house. Life went on as usual for them. But for Alice, everything felt different. She missed the happy times with her mother's laughter. Those days felt like they were gone forever. In the middle of the village, where every home and tree has its own tale, something very sad happened in Tade's house. Alice's mother, who was always so strong and happy for her family, got very sick. The energy and joy she used to bring to their home faded away because of her illness. The village native doctor, a wise old man who knew a lot about plants and old healing ways, was called to help. He brought his bags filled with dried plants and special roots. He said prayers and mixed up his healing drinks. All the people in the village came together, hoping and praying for her to get better. But even with the native doctor's hard work, Alice's mother got worse. Her bright eyes lost their shine, and the sound of her laughter, which once filled their house, was gone. Alice felt so sad and helpless, watching her mother get weaker. Then, on a morning when the African sun was shining bright, Alice's mother passed away. Everyone in the village felt sad for Tade and Alice. They cried with them. Following their traditions, they had a big funeral with singing and dancing to celebrate her life and send her spirit off to the place of ancestors. Alice felt lonelier than ever. Their house, once so warm and full of life, now felt empty and cold. She missed her mother's advice and protection. Without her, Alice felt even more at the mercy of Abike's mean ways. Tade was stuck between his sadness and his role as a husband. He didn't like how Abike treated Alice, but his beliefs and what the village thought about having more than one wife made things hard for him. He knew he needed to do something, but he was torn between his love for his daughter and his duty as a husband. Abik didn't seem to care about the family's sadness and kept being mean to Alice. Alice, who used to be so lively and full of joy, now seemed like just a shadow of herself, always sad. During this time of sadness and loss, life in the village went on. But for Alice and Tade, everything was different. They had to live without the woman who was their strength and light. This loss changed their lives, showing them how quickly happiness can break and life can change in ways you don't expect. Tade, Alice's father, saw how tired Alice was every day. He felt worried and asked, why does Alice have to do all this by herself? But Abik had excuses. She'd say, Alice is just being lazy. She needs to learn to work hard. And she touched her big belly, reminding Tade that she was going to have a baby soon. Tade, Alice's father, grew more and more upset about how Abik treated Alice. He thought long and hard. Just a few years after Abik gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, Tade decided to marry another wife, as was the custom in their village. And so, Tade got married again, this time to Kemi. Kemi was well known in the village for being very beautiful and having a kind heart. When she came to live in their house, it was like a cool, calming wind had come into their lives. Alice, who was still very sad about losing her mother, watched Kemi carefully at first, but she soon found that Kemi was really nice to her. Kemi reminded Alice of her own mother. She would spend time with Alice, talk with her, and help her with work around the house. Little by little, Alice started to feel better, like Kemi was helping her heal from her sadness. But then things started to change. Kemi, who had been so kind, started acting differently. She began treating Abike's little girl badly, just like Abike had treated Alice before. She would send her on an errand in the hot afternoon. She would make her watch both her and Alice's clothes, and even sometimes refusing to give her food, telling her to go and meet her wicked mother. Kemi, who everyone thought was so kind, was now being mean, just like Abik had been. Abike saw how her daughter was being treated and felt very upset. She realized this was how she had made Alice feel. It was hard for her to see her own daughter being treated so badly. She wanted to help her daughter, but didn't know how to make things better in their family. For Alice, seeing this made her feel a mix of things. She felt like it was fair for Abike to see what it was like, but she also felt sad. She knew how much it hurt to be treated badly, and she didn't like seeing another child go through that. This change brought a lot of different feelings into their home. Kemi, who everyone thought would make things better, now made them wonder. Abike started to realize how much she had hurt Alice before, and Alice, seeing all this, had to think about what it means to forgive and understand how others feel. Abike saw how upset her own daughter was and couldn't take it anymore. She went to Tade, shaking and upset, and asked him, "Why do you let Kemi be so mean to our daughter?" Tears were in her eyes. Tade, who usually didn't say much, looked at Abike and told her something big. "Abike," he said calmly, "woman, you reap what you sow. What you did to Alice has come back in a way you didn't expect. It's important to treat everyone with kindness, no matter if they are your own child or not. The way Kemi is acting was to teach you a lesson. It was to show you how much you hurt Alice." The room went quiet. Abika was shocked by what Tade said. Then Tade further revealed that he never really got married to Kemi. This was all the plan of the villagers. They saw how harsh Abike had been on Alice before and after her mother passed away. So they all came up with the plan to bring in Kemi as Tade's wife, just to show Abike the pain of her actions. Abike felt ashamed. She felt like everything was changing. She realized how badly she had treated Alice. She looked at Alice and saw her not just as her stepdaughter, but as a child who had been hurt by her actions. Abike felt really sorry for what she had done. She turned to Alice and said very softly, "Alice, I'm so sorry. I was wrong and mean and I hurt you. I can't change what happened, but I can be better now." She was crying as she said this, really meaning every word. Then she spoke to Tade. "Tade, I've caused so much trouble in our family. I'm really sorry for all the pain I've caused. Can you forgive me?" She was truly sorry, hoping to make things right in their family. After that, things in the family started getting better. Abike didn't just say sorry, she also started acting nicer. She was kind to Alice, fixing the relationship that had been hurt before. Their home, which used to be full of upset and sadness, slowly became a peaceful and happy place. People in the village saw the changes in Tade's family and talked about it. The story of how Abike changed and became better spread around. It was a story about how saying sorry and forgiving can be powerful, and how what we do can come back to us. As this part of their story ended, the family found a new way to get along. They learned that even old hurts can get better, and that love and understanding can heal even the biggest problems. The story of Alice, Abike, and their family spread throughout the village, teaching everyone a valuable lesson. It showed how our actions can affect others, sometimes in ways we don't expect. It taught the power of empathy, to understand and share the feelings of another. And most importantly, it showed that what we sow today, we shall reap tomorrow. And also, it showed us the power of forgiveness. Forgiving doesn't just free the person who did wrong, it frees the person who forgives. And so, in a small African village, A story of hurt turned into a story of healing. It reminded everyone that even when we make mistakes, there is always a chance to make things right, to learn, and to grow. This story, like the gentle river that flowed by the village, carried a message of hope and the power of kindness. If you enjoyed the story, please make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for more stories like this one. Goodbye.